Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the master class. I would like to welcome Mr. Seshadrinathan Krishnan. He's the co-founder and director of Seshadrinathan Securities Private Limited and an investor at Kerala Angel Network. With extensive experience in investment, capital markets, and mentoring early-stage startups, he works closely with founders to strengthen their business strategies and investor readiness. In this TiE Woman Kerala Founder Mentoring Clinic and Pitch Practice, we will provide practical feedback and one-on-one guidance to help founders refine their pitches. So I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. I hope everyone can see the slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Uh, it's a pleasure to address this group of aspiring entrepreneurs and who want to succeed and scale their business. And this is the right forum for you to take mentorship from experienced entrepreneurs and consultants like me. I'm going to talk initially a little bit about what you should be including in your pitch as a must-have. And then if we have time towards the end, we can look at also doing some of the or looking at some of the pitches. So if there are any volunteers who want to pitch towards the end, please be ready and uh, I can give you feedback, and that will be also uh, a educational experience for others as well. So we'll start uh, by talking about what is the general objective that you're trying to do with a pitch. So here, the idea of a pitch deck is to get the attention of the right investor. So it's not a business development deck or it's not your product deck. Um, it's different from your website because your objective here is not to sell the idea to everyone. You're just trying to sell it to investors. So what is the difference in that? We'll see. But in this, you are also um, so here is one rule of thumb that you should keep in mind while preparing this deck, pitch deck. It's the 10-20-30 rule. So what it means is that 10 slides, 20 font size, and let's say 30 minutes of presentation. So usually you may not get that 30 minutes of presentation, but you should be able to do the presentation in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes as required. But generally, the idea is to be able to present this in 30 minutes. So the 10-20 rule is 10 slides, 20 minutes of presentation rather, and let's say 30 size font. So it can also be looked at that way. Um, what this 30 size font does in addition is also to um, force you or bring you the discipline of having to put less words in the slide. So we have seen decks, especially if the candidate is more educated, they'll put more words on the slide as if the investor is going to pay them on a word by word basis. Or fund them on a word basis. So that's not the goal here. So here, minimal words, and the idea is to communicate whatever your business is trying to solve. Second is rehearse. So this applies to everything that you're presenting, of course. And a story usually gets the attention better than a lot of facts. So the other point about any presentation is that you should present it as a connected story. So the 10 slides, if you can present at least the first 5 slides or 6 slides as a story or a journey of your customer or let's say your ideal customer uh, or a prospect, that will get you a lot more attention than presenting a lot of facts in the first 5, 6 slides. And present the idea, of course, with passion, but with less emotional in content. And Now let's talk about what are those 10 slides that you need in your 20-minute presentation. This is actually inspired primarily from a book called Art of the Start by Guy Kawasaki. And He talks about a lot of things about business in that book. So I would recommend that that's a good read for you as an entrepreneur if you haven't come across this book. And here I'm so in addition to bringing or organizing these slides based on these principles that he outlines, I'm also going to talk about some of the common things that we have seen across the pitches, primarily in TiE Kerala as well as in other forums where I have been on panels like Startup Mission or other angel networks. So I'll also bring some of those examples and things to best practices or things to avoid in while we discuss along these 10 slides. So the first slide is primarily a very short introduction. Think of it as your elevator pitch, three keywords or phrases, two sentences, and uh, probably your logo or your image from the business. That should also get, like again, like I was saying, that should convey a story. So this is think of this as a preamble to your story that you are starting at this slide. So you are starting by saying one fine morning on a spring day, etc., etc. So that is your elevator pitch, and you are also going to uh, outline the background in which that story is happening, and also giving a small teaser of what is to come for the investor. Now, the next slide is going to talk about what the problem or opportunity is. So it can be either of two things. One is a pain that you are alleviating. So meaning you describe the pain and then who has it. And On the other side, it can also be a pleasure that you are providing, happiness that you are providing. So why will someone need that? So it can fall into either of these categories, and it becomes easier to explain and describe it to somebody when you think of those problems or opportunities along these two uh, sets. Uh, and the Before we get into the next 2 points, the bullet points, the other thing that I've also commonly seen in slide decks is um, that people talk about multiple problems. So meaning we solve X, Y, and Z, and in the minds of the entrepreneur, these might be having a same weightage. But for an investor, what is important is to know which is the primary problem that you are solving. So let's say you have to focus tomorrow, let's say tomorrow 24 hours on a problem that you are going to solve. Which of those three problems, whether it's X, Y, or Z, that you will focus on uh, in that 24 hours. And when you organize it, looking at it from the investor's perspective, think of it as a so they will be interested in knowing which is the problem that gets them a better return. So meaning you spend less amount of money and get them higher return. Usually what happens is you will have this problem which has a immediate market, and maybe you're working in the background to develop another solution for a problem as you solve this problem, which is adjacent to that, and which can take a longer time to solve. So that is also another way to think about how you sequence or give priority to the XYZ problems that you're solving. So we can take some examples if there is a presentation later from any of the participants. Now, the next part of it is how many people are in need of this solution, or how many people have that pain point that you're trying to solve. So that is also something that you need to uh, talk about. And also, how do you know that? Whether it's coming from your own research, whether it is coming from your personal experience, and we'll talk about that personal experience bit in a while. So the third can be there was a survey, there was a news item. So all of those four things can be a valid way to talk about all of this. But the only problem is when you say that this is a problem that I have personally faced, you should not stop there. You should also then talk about um, how you came across your community, which is a larger group that is facing the same problem, and talk about how you were able to relate with that, and then talk about what is that larger group that you know that exists and how you know that. Um, because if you are trying to solve, or if you're pitching saying that you're trying to solve a problem that you personally faced, and stop there, the uh, the message that an investor gets is primarily that you are trying to make money out of a cost that you have already incurred, rather than having done a market research and finding out what is the larger market size that is out there to help you get more revenue. So that this is the context in which the next slide should be. Then we'll talk about the value proposition. So the again, in the context of the problems or opportunity set that we talked about, um, you explain what is that value in that pain point solution that you're offering, or about why it makes a customer happy. And usually people stop here. They'll say that my solution is great, it solves this problem, but then they don't then talk about why is it better or different than other solutions that the customer is chasing. So usually there could be, so let's say your solution or your product or your services are not out in the market. What is the customer going to do, and where do they find the solution to that problem, or whether they will do something else with the time that they have to find happiness, right? Uh, so that is the alternate that you provide. So you then say that why your solution is better than the other alternatives that are out. It's usually good to provide a customer case study at this point to say that we had this customer, Nikhil, who had a problem, and they used our product, and they were happy with the solution that they got by using the product, and we solved the pain point, etc., etc. So that becomes part of your narrative. So now the investor can put a name to the faceless customer that you're describing. Now, the next part of it is then you'll talk about what is the underlying magic behind your solution. Meaning, we talked about why the customer or your prospects are attracted to your solution in the previous slide. Why are you different? Meaning, why are you being sought out where there is a lot of competition? So here you are going to describe what is that special sauce, secret sauce that you are adding, or what is that proprietary technology that you're adding, or what is that underlying magic that you're bringing together to make your product great or solution great. Here again, use less text. This is a good place to show your demo, prototype, or even your manufacturing process or making process. And here, the key thing is again, you have to be mindful of time. You have to prepare your demo videos or product videos accordingly, or if you are bringing your prototype, at least have a one other product as your prototype as your backup, just to use it in case of some technical difficulties, or in case, let's say, the product doesn't work for the demo, you should have a backup in the form of a video where you are demonstrating how that prototype or the demo works. But always, the live demo or live prototype display always works better. So we have had cases of people giving us food, as you would have seen in Shark Tank or similar pitch videos or pitch shows. We have had people show us toys or similar kind of things, which are more experiential. And in some cases, these are just people hand out brochures, or even if it is a special type of cloth or material, they will hand the product over. And while we are looking at it, they'll continue talking about what is great about the product. So that's one way to also get the investor involved. This all works if there is a physical investor group present. But if there is either a hybrid crowd or if it's purely an online crowd, then only choice left to use the video demo or video that you can show. Now, next slide is going to be talking about business model. So you would have covered some of these in your earlier sessions, but essentially, in my view, this is describing how you are going to get somebody else's money into your pocket by providing value, of course. And it can be about describing how do you describe the business model is primarily by looking at either on a top-down approach, meaning there are, uh, you know, 140 crore people, and out of that, let's say 20 crore are my potential customers, and uh, they are my potential customers because this report said, or that other report said this. And out of that, I can easily get 2 crore customers in the first year. So that can be your format. Or the other could be that there are, let's say, in a pin code, there are, say, 1,000 houses which can use my product, which have a need for my product. And there are, let's say, so many pin codes which qualify within my income socioeconomic criteria, etc., from the census. And you can multiply it by that to get to your larger market. And then you can say that we'll stick to the pin codes in Kerala, which is, let's say, 100 of them, and my total size is 1 lakh households, like that. So that can be a bottom-up approach. Then you list your top one to maximum 3 revenue sources. So what do you mean? I mean by revenue sources? So it can be, as an example, a simple example is a household equipment that you buy from, let's say, one of the electronic stores. The sale is one item. Second revenue source could be annual maintenance contract revenue. And third could be if there is a recurring revenue like SaaS or subscription that is attached to that product. So those would be your top 3 revenue sources. And how do you decide which of the 3 you should list? You should look at which one is growing fast to become a reasonable size, or become a big revenue, uh, or big part of your revenue in the next 3 years. So that's what determines what should be your top first to 1 to 3 in your list, not what would be the top in the first year that you start out. And the other thing that you need to describe in your business model is how are you prioritizing your different segments of customers. So in the case of examples that we discussed, the 1,000 households, how did you identify them? Why are they your customers? Whether it's based on size of the household, meaning maybe there are more than 5 people in that household, or whether there is a growth potential, meaning there are more young married couples in that household, as an example. or it could be the potential, meaning that they are fastest growing in terms of revenue or household income, etc. Um, and in the case of the top-down approach, you'll talk about again similarly how do you get to the that large group of people which can um, use your solution or use your product. So here, one of the big mistakes a lot of people tend to make is that they will say there are 140 crore people, as an example. We have seen this a lot with edtech solutions back in, uh, let's say, 5 years ago or so. Everyone would say that there are 140 crore people, one third of them are below the age of 30, and it's growing. So we have, let's say, 40 crore people, and we'll sell our tech platform to 40 crore people. That is our entire market size. And 40 crore people, even if they pay 100 rupees per month, we'll get to 4,000 crore revenue. So that is the model that everyone will pitch without realizing that whether in that 40 crore people in India, whether they can afford to pay 100 crore, sorry, 100 rupees per month for the platform, in addition to whatever expenses that they are already incurring. So they haven't thought that, and that is where a lot of market sizing goes wrong. You can think of some of these large tech companies. I would name them today, but you can understand why they would have failed in these kind of calculations. Second mistake that I commonly see is that again, it will say that we have such a large market of young people of 40 crore in India, and even if we manage to get 4 crore of that, we'll have a big revenue. The problem with that is how do you um, get or reach that 4 crore people? What are you going to spend to reach that 4 crore people? How long will it take? All of that matters. So you have to start always small and then show that growth to the investor in these pitches. And finally, you should offer proof. So if you are a pre-revenue startup, the ideal way to do this is do some surveys directly with your potential users or potential customers and find out their preferences, and that would be your proof. Or in other cases, if you have sold something, if you have made some revenue, you can talk about the feedback that you got and how are you improving upon that first round of product or solution. And then finally, what is the customer behavior once they um, use your product, whether it solves the problem, or are you how different is it from your initial expectation, whether it confirms with what you're offering. All of that is what you offer as a proof. Well, let's talk about one of the elements that we discussed here, which is the go-to-market plan. So that is what you present. So you have said that we this is our solution which solves this great problem for our customer, and we have so many number of customers, and this is a large market. This is how we are going to get money from their um, pockets to ours by offering the value proposition. Now, the next part of the question is how do you reach them? So, these days, people will always talk about digital ads, etc. And here, uh, the key point to remember is sometimes digital may not be the best channel for reaching your customer segment. So let's say you're talking about today in today's world, let's say you're talking about reaching 40 to 50-year-old people for your solution. Clearly, Instagram is not where you would offer this. Instagram is mostly young people's market. So you would talk about if it's a B2C product, clearly Facebook has an edge there, or Google Ads would be the other. thing that you'll talk about. And here, instead of talking about one solution versus the other, what you have to then present is why you picked that solution. So this is one way in which you can communicate to the investor that you are a good, um, say, steward of investors' money, in that you are thinking about, I am only going to go to places where I'll get a better return on the money that I'm spending or investing. So how do you demonstrate that? Like I said, there are a lot of these channels. So let's say, uh, per user or per, let's say, impression or per cost per click may be lower in one channel. But if the conversion is not happening as fast as the other channel, you may end up incurring a lot more money to get your first 100 customers to buy. So you will have to then show that why you picked one channel over the other. So in some cases, the comparison is between a D2C versus a retail channel. There, the economics of retail channel of having to get shelf space, having to ensure distribution, carry stock, etc., are then what comes into your analysis. So you have to also be ready to answer some of these questions that investors may already have on top of their mind by addressing them upfront. Otherwise, these questions will come back to you towards the end of your pitch in the Q&A session as a objection about why they will not invest in your business. So before the investor has a chance to ask, it's better to address it upfront and say that we have compared all of these, and this is why we picked one over the other. And then the channels could be chosen based on volume, cost, or conversion. It can be also a combination of these three. Now we'll talk about one of the key slides a lot of pitch decks miss. So uh, until this point, you're talking about your own business. You're going to describe what you know really best. Now, a lot of decks miss the slide of competition, primarily because number one, they don't want to bring somebody else's attention to their competition. Um, and second is they themselves haven't done this comparison before starting out the business or while they are doing the business. So meaning you have to show the complete competitive landscape. So meaning how many businesses are there in the market that you are in. List all your top competitors, meaning if you are, let's say, offering a solution in a B2B space, who would be bidding for that same solution in uh, in competition to you at that particular customer's place. So that will guide you. If it is a B2C type solution, then you look at what customers are saying, that they switch their product from one to the other, or you can also do surveys from customers who bought from you and ask them what they found better than competitive products. So they might list some of the products that they have evaluated that was in their consideration set before they chose your product. So that can give you an idea. So here all you would probably notice that I'm asking you to get inputs from your customer. So this is one of the most valuable thing that you can do in your business, which is to hear what the customer is saying and find out what their specific needs are, and in addition to listening to their complaints. And so here in this particular slide, you are going to list those competitive products or solutions, and then the common way to present this is by providing a feature by feature comparison, meaning that my competitor, so you list competitor one, two, three, four, and fifth would be you. in bold, and you would then list, say, feature number one, um, competitor one, two, three are providing, competitor four is not providing, competitor fifth one being you is providing that, and if it is better, you add a comment or a note saying that the other three are providing low quality solutions. We are providing high quality because of this. So don't use words like quality. Don't waste your slide space on that. Say specifically why you think that quality is better, and that's how you will list, let's say, 5 to 7 features, or 5 to 7 product features, or 5 to 7 experiential differences for the customer. And the other way of providing this is in the form of a two-axis graph, where you say that our product is high value, low priced, or something similar to that, or it could be high cost, high value, um, or high quality, high cost, and you will sit at the top right, your right corner, and competitors will sit somewhere else in the bottom. So this is one other way of providing if you can't do a feature by feature comparison. And uh, be mindful that your investor would know some of these products, and if you provide information just to favor you, or just to say that your product is better, they'll usually find out very easily. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So be truthful, honest about your comparisons. Next is you'll talk about management team, and here you'll talk about um, the current team, any roles or positions to be filled. Also, any meaning, in addition to the people that you already have, you'll also list people who you are planning to hire as part of your larger expansion. And in the management team, even if you are a husband and wife, or sisters doing the business together, make sure that you are able to show some uh, uh, differentiation in the roles. So instead of saying founder, co-founder, you should say founder, CEO, founder, CMO, chief marketing officer, founder, um, chief operating officer. What that tells investors is that you have thought about how you are going to do certain roles, and one person is doing one role more than the other. It doesn't mean that only one person is doing it. It means that one person is spending more time or is driving that particular role. Then you talk about board advisors, any major investors that you currently have, and any relevant qualifications or experience. So in this case, one of the things that I have to highlight is the order of slides can change if your business is purely an expertise based business. So meaning if you are providing, or if your business is involves a lot of R&D, your qualification slide probably should be in one of the earlier part than much later, like we are talking about now. The other part is here you'll talk about um, any prior startup or entrepreneurial experience, any other business that you are currently part of, all should be mentioned here. This is also one quick way of disclosing any other business that you're part of, and any other conflict of interest that you might have. Then the second is, like I said, expertise, technology or similar things, and then um, any similar sales and marketing experience. It should be bullet points, and not detailed sentences. And finally, in the next slide, you will talk about financial projections, key metrics. Here, the key thing to remember is you will provide at least 3 year of forecast, um, and some of the key metrics if you are already in the market, things like number of customers, number of products sold, marketing conversion matrices, any bottom-up forecast. Uh, then what is your budget for raise, meaning if you don't raise money, how do you operate? Then if you can only raise, if you're asking for, let's say, 10 crore today, but if you can only raise 2 crore, how will you operate? Which is the small budget, the medium budget. If it is a 5 crore raise, what will you do? And if somebody is willing to put up 20 crore, how will you what can you do with the business? So it's more like a 3, 4 scenarios for your business plan. And uh, uh, the other thing is more about optionality, which is to say that you currently have a product, but there may be a better, a longer term product that may be in the pipeline. So what you're showing the investor is that you will also get, if you invest money in my business, you'll also get an option to participate in that other business. So think of, let's say, SpaceX from Elon Musk's company. They were, let's say, pitching as um, a company that will take you to Mars or to outer space in the future. But while they are doing that, they are making revenue from AI and a few other technologies. So that is the similar thought process here. And finally, you will talk about what is the current status, accomplishments till date, and also you will talk about what will you do with specifically with the money that you're raising, and what will the near term future look like. So here you will also talk about I mean, in terms of accomplishments, any awards, etc. Though that doesn't carry a big weightage in the investor's mind, it's a good way to say that your product is accepted, etc. The other accomplishment that you should definitely talk about is if you have raised money before, and if there is any uh, change in valuation, etc., that you have given to those investors. So to summarize, the 10 slides are um, in basically a elevator pitch, problem description, saying what are you solving, then a value proposition, what is the underlying magic and positioning for your product, what is the business model, how do you get somebody else's money from their pocket to yours, and how do you reach them is the go-to-market plan. And then you'll talk about positioning, competition, etc. in the slide 7. So this slide 1 to 7 is where your it will fit your the storytelling narrative that I was talking about earlier. So you can easily weave a story from the elevator pitch all the way to talking about your solution in the form of positioning. And the last 3 slides are anyway going to be slightly dry, but even the management team can be brought in between your story to show characters uh, or as characters in your story, and then financials and your current statuses where you are going to talk more seriously to the investor while after you narrate the story. So that's one way of presenting these 10 slides. But here is a summary of those 10 slides. Now that we have seen how you are going to uh, present these slides, we'll also uh, talk about uh, how or what are the different ways you can appeal to an investor's motive. Meaning, it's maybe it's a good return on their money, but more than that, there are other ways in which you can appeal to initial investors, especially angel investors. So some of the ways, especially this is based on a survey that was done by Let's Venture some time back on uh, angel investors. So they asked angel investors what prompts them to put up money into startups, and only about a third of them answered that they are interested in getting a return, which is the primary motive. Um, the other could be what we call as FOMO, meaning fear of missing out. It's harder to make appeal to a FOMO these days, especially because investors are already aware that that is what you are trying to do. But then your pitch also should be compelling enough if you are going to make a uh, appeal to that fear of missing out. The third case could be that you are solving a pain point which can be shown as a cause, um, that a social cause or something which can appeal to the emotions of the investor, and therefore they will invest money. And the final cases, it could be an opportunity to see how a certain process or a certain technology or industry works. So it could be either or rather, it could be one of these four motives that an investor has. You can easily, or with some slight difficulty, you can find out what their motive is based on the questions that they are asking, or based on the conversation that they have with you during or before or after the pitch. Usually it falls into four of these. Um, and Like I said, farmers are very hard to detect, because investors are good at hiding it. But the other three you can easily find out with normal conversations, one-to-one conversation with the investor, or if it is a more organized institutional investor, you can always find out based on what their past investments have been. This is where I will end my presentation. And My contact is on the screen, and we will um, um, we will pause, or um, uh, you can ask questions. I mean, I'll pause my talking here at this point, and then you can ask questions. Um, Raise your hand, unmute, and I'll let the moderator decide who gets to answer or ask the question. And before we go into questions, if there are any volunteers who want to pitch their business, um, this is a good opportunity for that.
Hi, Seshadri. Hope you're doing good. It was a great session. Thank you for your time. I actually wanted to volunteer my pitch deck, but then seeing your the structure of the pitch deck that you were expecting, I understood that I have a lot more work to put in that before I can show that to you. So maybe I'll move on to a question if that is okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Nish.
Yeah. See, you told about the slide about the competition. Now, suppose I'm pitching for a software product, a platform, which has a lot of competition. Who are the competitors that I can keep in this kind of a slide? Should it be regional? Should it be, the ones which are have a lot of features, or the competitors that we can compare within the kind of pricing we are going to offer, or the market that we are going to serve? So which are the how many competitors should we show on that slide, and who should be those competitors ideally?
Is it a B2C or a B2B product?
It's a B2B product.
So B2B then becomes easy for you to identify competitors. So like I was saying, in a B2B, let's say there is a bid for your product or solution. Uh, there is an RFP out there. Um, you just think if there is nothing like that, then you imagine there is an RFP for your solution that you're offering. Imagine who all would be qualified to bid for that. That would be the guide of your competitors. So it could be it could be a exclusion purely based on the size, because they may not qualify to serve certain sized organizations.
Mhm.
Um, Meaning one of your competitor may be good, but they may be only serving, let's say, MSMEs today, and not very large corporations. Um, so that would be one way to exclude. The other would be to see whether those competitors have an expertise in the segment that you are in.
Mhm.
So meaning, let's say you're offering a solution for manufacturing industry, and some of your the other solutions are tailored for services or banking or financial services or something other than manufacturing, then you can clearly exclude them.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so these are some of the ways, but competition and comparable companies are always one of the hardest things to
Yep. Yep.
figure
Yep.
out.
We look around, there is a lot of competition that we can call competition. So,
Yeah,
we are struggling with fine tuning them to a
yeah,
small list of maybe five or six.
yeah, and uh, you are asking a question that probably I have seen only 25% of the usually pitches that have have seen would have covered, primarily because all of the pitches would start by saying that we are unique, we don't have any competition. And the big mistake in saying that usually is to for the investor to think, oh, yeah, this person doesn't know what the market looks like, what the
Mhm.
customer really wants. Uh, so that would then become an automatic criteria for exclusion.
Exclusion. Mhm. I believe we are all beyond that age of thinking that way. Now, just one more question to end with. Is there any minimum amount bracket that an investor would look at that they feel that is worth investing?
So the fact of the investor world out there is whether you are investing 1 lakh or whether you are investing 100 crore, the process of evaluation and the cost of evaluation is somewhat the same.
Hmm.
Uh, and when I say same, I'm talking about in absolute numbers, not in percentage terms. So, evaluating uh, a larger deal and the time spent on that is also somewhat similar. Second thing is the cutoff for investors is driven by uh, the regulations out there, also by uh, how many investors do you want to manage on your cap table. So lower, I mean, you can raise lower amount from more investors, but the problem is then your shareholder list will be very large, and
Hmm.
sending out notices, sending out communications, physical communications that are mandatorily required, etc., would become a pain. Finally, the big other pain is to get all or majority of their consent to do certain things that are needed for your future, like allotting new shares or allotting different type of shares or other things that you would be required to do in the future. So because of that, a lot of startups tend to have a cutoff of, let's say, 25 lakhs or 50 lakhs these days for individual investors, and much higher for the fund investors. So that becomes your criteria for how you set that. Um, And the other larger risk is somebody investing, let's say 1 lakh, etc., from their side. Also, you also run the risk of either it is too small for them, or they are investing it from their hard-earned money, meaning they don't have an experience investing in startup, and they start asking for returns much earlier, or start asking for exit much earlier. So all of that is a risk when you are seeking smaller funds.
Right. Understood. Thank you, Seshadri. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishi.
Hi. Can I go?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, actually, I have a question. Like, I'm a founder building product for healthcare, and it is tough to get initial funding for us. Like, we have built a product. It's actually an intelligence layer that continuously understands how an older adult is living after a hospital discharge, and enables families and care providers to intervene before routine breakdown becomes a medical crisis. So basically, it monitors how the recovery of a person happens at home. So as of now, hospitals and care providers are blind after a hospital discharge. That's where we work. We are not a medical device or a medical someone who handles the medical stuff. Okay. My question is, we have built product. It's currently in the eighth iteration. 9.2 is working. We have done market validation and incubated at IIT Kottayam, and we have positive responses from after Aster means, and we are already working with CAMSET and KIMS as well. So, how should I approach for initial funding at this stage?
So if I understood correctly, you're a pre-revenue. I mean, you
Yeah,
haven't just,
yeah.
yeah.
This is more of a deep tech startup.
Yeah, so see, first comment is when you describe your startup as a as you did before when you started talking about your business, um, stick to that later part where you're saying that you are
Mm,
solving care problems at home, right?
mm,
Or whatever that equivalent of what you said towards the end, because I missed the whole first segment of your pitch. I did not understand, not being, I mean, I work with medical care a lot, but still I miss that, right?
mm.
So keep it simple. Talking to investors, think of you are talking to young children. They have the same attention span, and say they have the same level of understanding, right?
Yeah,
So, or we have rather. So I'll
mm,
put myself in that category.
yeah.
So having said that, the question is, why do you need that money, right? So why do you need to raise funds if your channels are going to be through hospitals and other care providers?
Mm,
So if most of your solution or your MVP is ready, offer that as your initial MVP solution to these providers.
mm,
And then that's where you go from as a starting point. The challenge always with pre-revenue startup is one, um, it's hard across the world. It's hard to raise funds. So, um, I mean, it's the same case whether it's in India or in the US. Especially in a regulated industry like medical industry, right? The other challenge that you're going to face as a uh, in this particular space is that um, you are promising something that a normal investor is not able to validate in a normal course. That is, you're saying that I have a solution, but how do you, as an investor, how do we validate that that solution exists? So usually in medical solutions, it's through certifications, it's through third-party validations that usually happens. So it is because of this, it's tough to fund any pre-revenue startup. In addition to it being a pre-revenue startup, you have this additional problem. So
mm,
the best approach is to generate some revenue through solutions that you can provide, which are adjacent to your eventual flywheel that you're trying to get started, and then um, use that revenue to essentially bootstrap, right? So that's your best approach. So I think Varsha, you have had the hand raised next.
Yes, very good afternoon, sir. I'm Varsha. I'm a farmer of India. We are doing chemical residue free farming. That means we are not saying that we are organic, but we are not using any harmful chemicals in our field.
Yep.
We are traditionally processing all the grains and cereals, whatever we are growing in our field, and providing directly to customers. That means we are having no middleman between the customers and us. So my question is, what will be the unique value proposition for me? Uh, whether I'm giving, since आपने mentioned किया कि if you are giving to customers, then you should have some videos from them. They are describing their benefits of the products and all. Or what I am providing them, I need to mention that.
Yeah. So, see, number one, first thing that comes to my mind is usually when you offer something as a chemical residue-free food product, one easy way to get interest is, or say that your value proposition is by scaring people, right? So, which is a very common thing that you see with pitches in organic and everything. So that's one way. I am not passing any judgment. It's not a judgmental thing that I'm saying. So that's one approach. Second approach is to say that uh, that a normal, let's say, food grain that is produced through using pesticides or other chemicals um, uh, is um, sold in the market as a commodity, and yours is uh, a premium product. So meaning that customer will pay, let's say 2x, 3x more because you are chemical free, right?
So
So
usually, what I used to say, sir, कि since organic is not everybody's cup of tea.
yeah,
So we are way between traditional ones and organic ones.
yeah,
So is it correct?
yeah. So the only thing that then happens when you say that you are in the middle, uh, whenever somebody says they are in the middle, we always worry that you are going to get squeezed from either side, right? So whether if there is a mass conversion of agri practices tomorrow,
Yeah.
or if organic farmers lose their certification, they can easily invade your territory, right? So meaning tomorrow the regulations change, and what is today considered organic is no longer considered organic. You are just creating that space that can be easily attacked by that from top, which is where the biggest threat is. So today's premium product can easily lower their price and sell and compete with you, right? So uh, when you say you are in the middle, that is the big risk you're always running.
Okay. Okay. So, what we can say, or we can say like we are providing low GI, low gluten food to Gen Zs and millennials,
Oh,
making it
that's an
safe.
entirely different pitch. Um, so low gluten then says that um, your market is limited, right? So chemical free has a much larger probably market and awareness
Okay.
than gluten awareness, especially in a
Okay.
market like India, right? So then um, uh, that shrinks your overall market size by a lot.
Okay. Then regenerative, residue free, and responsible. Matlab, we are traceable. You
Yeah,
will be knowing from where your food is coming.
yeah. So that is a urban pitch,
Yeah.
right? Or rather, that's a pitch for your urban consumer.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, rural, semi-urban usually tends to know where their food is coming from, right?
But
And
as they are not my target customers will be urban people only, or the
yeah,
one who are health conscious.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Okay.
And so since you brought this health conscious part, then your pitch also becomes easier
Hmm.
because if your ingredients are going to things like salad, which require minimal cooking, minimal heat,
Hmm.
um, which again means that chemical residue free ingredients are much more important.
Hmm.
So for that process, right? So health conscious
Hmm.
will tend to uh, buy your product more than.
Yes. When we are saying traditionally processed, that means we are using that good tea, I mean, hand chakkis for
Yeah,
preparing
yeah,
up this. That matlab they are nutritionally rich compared to the one who are going to mills.
yeah. And is it an oil or is it a um,
So basically, they are grains and groceries. All type of pulses we are growing. We are
okay,
working on some native varieties of wheat, and we are working on rice. Most primitive variety, that is PV1,
yeah,
Basmati one बोलते हैं उसको.
yeah,
So we are procuring our native varieties to the people, or some GI tag products of India.
okay. So that also means a different nutritional profile based on whatever studies that you can offer. That becomes another segment of your value proposition, right?
Okay, okay. Or we can make some videos from the customers who are taking consistently from us because we are early revenue.
Yeah. So only reason I'm bringing that up is in Kerala there are varieties of rice which are used by or which are even good for diabetic. So like
Yeah,
you're saying low GI
low
kind of.
gluten. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also we are we are promoting millets because they Shri Ann is
Sure.
also GI and low gluten.
Sure. Sure.
Jeez. Okay, thank you.
I think Kala, you had your hand up.
Yes, sir. But I thought of the time, then I
Yeah.
so,
So until
good
the
afternoon.
moderator says stop, I can answer
So
questions.
go ahead. We have till 12:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, good afternoon, sir. I am from Cedis Technologies Private Limited. We are a construction related startup, and we are into we are doing a prefabricated nail foundation, which is a ready-made foundation system which can be used in low-rise buildings, that is G+1 buildings, which can replace the conventional foundation system, which needs excavation, time for curing, and multiple disciplinaries of labors to do the work. So here, for 1,000 square feet residence, we can replace the normal foundation with pre-engineered nail foundation, doing it within a day. Usually, it will take
Yeah.
30 to 45 days to
Yeah.
complete a foundation for a residence or anything like that.
Yeah.
So here we can do it in a day. So that's our product. So now at present we have done some business as well, like around 70 lakhs of business has been done with our product. So my question is that we are now raising the fund. We are pitching to various places. So what is the time period that we have to keep? Like we have got a plan B as well, in which if the funding is not done, what we have to do. So the time period that we have to give for this pitching or invest,
Yeah.
get the investor be doing this. You have to keep a time, no? Otherwise, we will
Yeah. Yeah. So
be
yeah,
will
so
be.
I understood your question. So usually when we recommend, we usually say 12 to 18 months, meaning once you start pitching, from that date, it will take 12 months for the funds to hit your bank account, or 18 months,
Okay.
and it can take longer because um, uh, these days investors take a lot more time. Second is if you're in a kind of a niche segment, it may take longer for you to find your ideal investors. So, but talking about two things from your description. Um, First is one quick feedback again is your initial description of your business, the elevator pitch part should be more crisp, right? So, so uh, instead of talking about what technology or what is, or starting from that point, you can talk about how it takes 30 days to, let's say, do a traditional foundation. You do that in 24 hours, right? So then you describe what the specific uh, or the specificities
Product
of
is.
that, yeah, if time permits, because that part is which gets everybody's attention, right? Then the natural question that pops up in somebody who understands construction, etc., is what would be the structural integrity, whether you have done any tests or whether there are any
Yes.
certifications. So then this next part is, or say that we are uh, certified by XYZ,
Incubated.
right?
Yeah. We are
Or
incubated in NIT and NIT Calicut and IIT Kanpur as well. We have done 5 years of research in the product, and then we got certification from NIT, and further R&D is doing at IIT Kanpur. So that has to be integrated. Yeah.
yeah. So who certified is what also matters, because see, the reason for somebody putting a foundation is that their house or what they are building on top of it should last for, let's say, 30 years, right? Which is the normal life cycle or economic life of an asset like that. So since you're only 5 year old, how do you prove that somebody using
We
your product? So that's where the testing comes in. I'm not questioning what your claim is.
okay.
I'm saying that's what you need to answer. That should be part of your first uh, elevator pitch itself.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pallavi, you have your hands raised.
Yeah. Um, Hello, sir. Uh, Thank you for a wonderful session. I just want to know, like, if my G2 market strategy is not crisp or it's not finalized, do we need to have a very uh, uh, good strat, like everything planned before the pitch, or it is fine as we go? Like,
Um, so uh, investors like to hear that you have an answer, right?
okay,
The back or the more uh, verb verbose explanation for that is the reason you are operating the business and investors giving you money is to take care of these kind of details, right? So you are going to take care of marketing, what segment to attack, etc., etc., right? So um, y- usually you need to provide a definite answer. I mean, if you don't have a definite answer, you should outline um, what would be the most likely approach
okay,
that you'll take, right? And again, be honest in that, saying that this is what we are thinking about today, but based on additional information, we can change our mind, right? So that's how
yeah,
you put something like that across. But you should make sure that there is that uncertainty is communicated to the investor, because I have seen a lot of cases where you talk about something in your pitch deck, 3 months down the line, you start doing some other activity which was not talked about in the plan, and the investor suddenly, the first thing most of the individual investors will think is they were cheated, right? Then you can't get
okay,
out of something like an impression like that, right? Regardless of whatever you offer explanations after the fact. So that becomes then a foundation to build distrust. It happens very
Yeah.
commonly because if you, I mean, um, my involvements are also in cases of disputes among founders, investors, etc. So in most of these cases, it's always something like this, right? So it always starts like that, and then mind always of the investor of one of the parties will always find reasons on why they should distrust, right? So that's an
Yes.
automatic thing, especially that happens a lot in our market. So to avoid all that mess, you should be very clear in the beginning that if there is uncertainty about how you are thinking about something, or if you are waiting for more information to change your mind, um, you should make that very clear. Second is that if there are alternate plans in your mind, you should make that clear.
Yeah.
So the other reason why you should make that clear is you might get investors who can guide you, mentor you in making that decision, right? So,
Yes.
so if you're
Actually, we are looking for that kind of guidance.
yeah, especially if you're an angel race, um, that usually happens. Um, you might find somebody who has experience in that space that you are in, or um, who can offer expertise in that space. So there are some of the investors out there. They may be larger ticket size, but there are investors who actually offer their expertise in addition to. So there's somebody who spoke to us during our last icon. Uh, they invest and then offer marketing expertise as a team. And these are people who had a lot of experience in that, in their respective marketing areas. And um, their thing is, once they come into the business, they can 10x their revenue in a normal course of business that they invest in.
Yeah.
So that also becomes an additional value add from the investor. And plus, if you are clear about it, then it becomes much easier for you to find those kind of support as well.
Mm.
And uh, uh, the other part is, if you haven't had already a session, there should be somebody talking to you about how,
Yes, go to market strategy. There is a session, I think, tomorrow, which
yeah,
is planned for
yeah.
that.
So maybe
Yes.
that's a good place to ask your questions.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. No, I just want to be sure, like everything should be 100% correct. And especially when you mentioned that the pitch can take like 12 months to 18 months for the fund to rise. Like, so what we say like today might not be valid after 12 months. Sometimes the direction changes, that's why I raised this question. If I'm already not sure, then how to present the pitch.
Yeah, and see, when I said 12 to 18 months, it can happen faster, but what I'm saying is that is what you should be prepared for. Second is,
Okay.
in that 12 to 18 months is also involved, meaning, say you pitch today to an investor, so there will be due diligence happening, there will be maybe follow-up sessions happening. So all of that would be going on, and those would be also opportunities for you to update um,
Okay.
investors about changes. And even before money hits your bank account, there will be lawyers involved uh, who will sign term sheets, etc. Um, so even at that discussion, this can come up. So because if you've gone past that stage of pitching to getting investor interest, then it is easy. But in
Fine.
all other cases, it's just a matter of updating your slide deck to,
Yes,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.